Hello there guys, and welcome to another Forza Horizon 5 video on my channel. So we are now in the last season of Series 31 European Automotive, which is the spring hot season, and in this video I'm back to hopefully guide you to success with another full festival playlist walkthrough for the season, with the usual seasonal advice containing all you need to know before tackling the challenges. So I will, as per my style of guide, include all of my tips and tricks for each and every individual event, as well as my suggested cars and tunes to hopefully help you on your way to completion, with the additional feature of some gameplay specifically for the PR Stunts, so I hope you look forward to that. Before we jump into the playlist and its events, I'll just address how we'll approach this video, just so you know how it's going to work. And of course, I'd like to thank you for joining the Shylo Gaming virtual community. Don't hesitate to like and subscribe if you do like what you see. That shows me that you are enjoying it. And if you wish to see more guides like this in the coming weeks, that is what you need to do. And I'm also always here to help in the comments or on Xbox or Discord should you need my assistance or guidance on anything. So feel free to ask any questions you'd like about the content of the videos I make, and offer any constructive suggestions regarding future content if you wish, amongst anything else that you might say in the comments. Of course, on Xbox, my gamer tag is in the top left, Shylo 2017, and on Discord it's the same username but just with a lowercase s for that one. So, like our usual structure, we'll be starting off by looking at the season and series rewards, just so you know what you're aiming for when you're completing these challenges, I suppose. So, without any further ado, let's begin by taking a look at the week's seasonal rewards. So there's a total of 75 points across the whole of the season, and within that we have our 20 points and our 40 points rewards, and these rewards are typically new exclusives with the current update that we're looking at, or the other hard to find exclusives reappearing from previous updates that are highly sought after by the community. And that is definitely the case with the two cars that we've got this week. So the 20 point reward at present is the Mercedes-Benz 500e. So this has been introduced with the latest update, Series 31 European Automotive, so it hasn't been seen before in Forza Horizon 5. It definitely wasn't in Horizon 4. I'm not sure if it's been in any other Horizon or Motorsport game because I haven't played them all. However, I know that it definitely hasn't been in the most recent ones. And then for 40 points, you have the Ascari KZ1R, another hard to find car. I don't think this one is one of the ones that's been added back to the auto show like some of them have, but it's still here. It's a hard to find exclusive car, and that is your 40 point reward for the spring hot season. Moving over to the series rewards, these can be unlocked by obtaining a load of points across the whole series, i.e. for all 4 seasons weeks. You'll of course need a certain amount of points out of the total for each week, 75 points, to work towards these. So for example, 20 points each week will get you your 80 points series reward, and 40 points every week will enable you access to the 160 points reward. But obviously this is only a rough guide as to what you'll need to do, and that is just a very rigid example. So out of a total of 300 points for the whole of the series, 75 times 4, for 80 points we have the Ferrari 575 Maranello, and for 160 we have the Audi RS6 from 2021. So the first one was added in Series 2, so it wasn't in the first month of the game, but then they added it back again after it was in Horizon 4 as well. And then the Audi RS6, brand new to Forza when it was introduced in Series 20, high performance. So they are all of your rewards for the season and the series, and we can now crack on with the whole of the Spring Festival playlist, starting with the Forzathon section. To begin our chronological section by section workthrough of this week's playlist, we'll first be taking a look at the Forzathon section, which covers one Forzathon weekly challenge, 7 daily challenges releasing across the week, and a Forzathon shop to spend your well-earned points. Of course, once we've moved through this section, we'll then be moving along across the whole of the festival playlist all the way over to the expansion event, so we'll make sure that we don't miss out any of the challenges in the festival playlist. But first, of course, like I said, we'll be starting with the Forzathon section. For the first event of the Forzathon section, we have our weekly Forzathon challenge, Trevor. Completing this will get you 5 seasonal points and also some Forzathon points, which will be 80 points as standard, and that will double to 160 points if you own a La Casa Solarica player house, which comes free with a VIP pass. Owning this house also grants you double Forzathon points in every Forzathon related event, including Horizon Arcade, where Forzathon points are your reward for completing each round, and therefore I highly recommend that you do purchase this house, especially if you like to spend your points in the shop. Perhaps if you are new to the game and there's some cars in there that you desire, and having this extra Forzathon points boost will definitely be of benefit to you. Moving over to the chapters, the first one, Fueling the Passion, wants you to own and drive the 2005 TVR Sagaris. It is important to note that this car is required for all of the chapters in the weekly challenge, so make sure that you do use it for all of them, otherwise you will notice that it won't complete the chapters of the challenge. And also, this car can be purchased from the auto show. It is 86,000 credits. You may or may not be able to find this for cheaper in the auction house. I don't really know because I haven't looked, and the prices do fluctuate depending on how popular it is in the auction house, so it's not always set in stone regarding the auction house prices. And once in your car, you may also wish to download the tune, which is completely optional, but I would recommend it if you want to make your life easier. And if you wish to download one of mine, I have of course created one as always. It is shared under my gamer tag. I'll also put the share code up on screen, so feel free to search that up and apply it to your car before you move on to the subsequent chapters. Once you are ready with your car, you may proceed to Chapter 2 in Line 6. So all you need to do for this is earn 3 stars at speed traps. In order to do this, I highly recommend that you head over to your map, open up the map filter, and then filter over to speed traps down here. This way you can avoid all of the clutter on your map and see which ones are definitely speed traps, because sometimes you can also get them confused with the speed zones as well. So obviously you're going to want to pick one that is suitable for your tune. So if you've got an off-road tune, you may wish to pick one that's based off-road. However, for most cases, especially with my tune, you'll probably want to pick one that's on road. I'd also try to avoid the ones on the highway, because as you can see the objectives are quite high and probably not really possible even if you max out the TVR Sagaris. So pick one that's a fairly reasonable objective. For example, this one, if you've got good acceleration. You don't need to get 3 stars all at once, but it will make your life easier if you can at least get 2 or 3 stars, and then you'll only have to do it once or twice. Obviously, worst case scenario, you have to do it 3 times, but once you've got your 3 stars, that is Chapter 2. Next up then is Chapter 3, Double Up, and all this you need to do for this one is spend at least 49,995 credits on upgrades in your TVR Sagaris. Now, if you're like me and you've already applied the tune before this chapter, for example for Chapter 2, the way that I got around it last week when we had a similar scenario with the Renault Clio was simply to buy another TVR Sagaris and then apply the same tune to that one and just continue the chapters in that car, because it will still recognise that you're in the car even though you're technically in a different car, because it's the same make and model. It doesn't really know any different. So that is the way I got around it. Alternatively, you can maybe delete the tune then reapply the upgrades, but I found that didn't really work last week because it knew that I'd already applied the tune beforehand. But if you do my former suggestion, then that should work for you. Alternatively, you could leave the car stock for Chapter 2, complete it stock, which is of course more than possible, and then just apply the tune or 50,000 credits worth of upgrades after that for Chapter 3. Completely up to you which way you do it, but that is all you need to do for Chapter 3, Double Up. And finally, for Chapter 4, Monster in the Dark, you need to win an S1 class street race. So once again, going back over to your map and filtering to street race and then picking one, that is all you need to do for that one. Make sure you win it, of course, and if you want to make your life easier, you can filter the difficulty down as low as Tourist, because there's no need for any specific difficulty for these Forzathon events. So if you want to make your life easier, lower the difficulty all the way down. And as you can see, the midnight battles work as well, so if you want to do that, by all means, make sure you win it. And once you've done all of those things, you'll have yourself 5 points and a bunch of Forzathon points towards your playlist. Following on from the weekly challenge, Trevor, the next event in our primary section is the daily challenges. So there are 7 of these for the week, releasing 1 per day for the entire 7 days. They also last each for 7 days, so 6 of them, with the exception of the first one, will be active until next season, meaning you don't necessarily have to rush to complete them every day and or before season change, again except for the first one of the week. I personally prefer to complete them in batches should I need a few more points for the reward card, so if you want to do that as well, then feel free to do that. But aside from this, I'm not going to spend too much time on these due to them generally being fairly self-explanatory. However, there are definitely cases where they can prove a little tricky, or perhaps something is unclear, and should this be the case with any of them this week as they release across the week, as I said earlier, just drop me a comment below or message me on Xbox or Discord and I can offer any assistance that you need, be it tunes or anything else. To conclude the first section, which is of course Forzathon events, we can now cast our attention to the Forzathon shop, where we've got a few things to splash our points on that we've earned from the weekly challenge, the daily challenges and everything else. So as always, there's 2 cars, there's 2 clothing items, there's also a horn and the usual wheel spins and super wheel spins. The most notable candidates in here for you to buy are probably the cars, although sometimes I do like to buy the horns as well, and the welcome spring horn, you know, it's alright. I like to change my horn periodically. So the cars this week are the Koenigsegg 1-1 from 2015 for 700 Forzathon points, and the Lamborghini Centenario LP 770-4 for 650 Forzathon points. Both of them are auto show cars, a couple of million each, so it's up to you whether you want to spend a couple of million credits or about 600 or 700 Forzathon points in the Forzathon shop. But that wraps up our Forzathon section. Following on from our first section, Forzathon events, we have the season events section, which this week covers the trial, 2 times EventLabs, 2 times seasonal PR Stunts, 2 times seasonal championships, and a Horizon tour for us to look at. So before we get started, for each of the events in this section, what we'll do is we'll look at them, we'll look at the restriction, what you need to do for them, any other background information, and then we'll head over to my garage. I'll show you the cars that I've got favourited for these to suggest for you for this week and their respective tunes, and then we'll of course do that for each of the challenges, just so you know what is going to happen with each of these. So let's get started and we'll move on to the trial. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, the way the trial works revolves around a co-op team system. So you are part of a team of up to 6 players, usually randoms unless you are part of a convoy, and if you do choose to run with a convoy, make sure it is a maximum of 6 players, as you can't enter with any more than 6 players for this event, meaning the usual convoy maximum of 12 players won't be eligible. Your team then has the aim of trying to defeat the opposing team of 6 drivatars who are set to unbeatable difficulty, and in order to do this you must rack up points, which you do by overtaking the drivatars' vehicles, gaining 100 points for every overtake, and then an extra 50 points for first place. However, they also get points for overtaking you and your team, so it requires a team effort to win. Hence, try not to ram your teammates. You can ram the drivatars if you want to, but they do seem to be quite resistant. But you're actually not racing your teammates, you're racing the drivatars in the set of races, so don't fall for the trap of trying to ram your teammates. Now for the event itself, this week's trial is called Porsche Spice, or Porsche Spice. It will get you a huge 10 points towards your seasonal reward cars, plus the additional event completion reward of the Porsche Cayenne from 2017. So the restriction to follow for this trial is A-Class European Super Saloons. Of course, we are in the European Automotive series, and that means that all of the Super Saloons must be from Europe, so France, Germany, Italy, UK, Sweden, etc. And the easiest way, if you are looking at this from the perspective of your garage, you can filter of course the super saloons, but then you can also sort it to country, and then you'll be able to identify which countries are from Europe. The main ones that usually appear that aren't from Europe are Japan and the United States. They occasionally cover other ones as well, but there aren't really that many countries in the game, so most of them are from Europe. So as I mentioned just before, I'll be offering car and tune suggestions for each event we go through, so let's do what we usually do, take a look at the cars I've prepared and head over to my garage and do that. Okay, so here we are in my virtual garage, and for this event I have got 5 cars and their tunes to showcase for you, and bearing in mind that this trial is based on dirt racing, I've tried to pick ones that will be suitable for dirt racing, because a few of my super saloons that I've got tuned are rear wheel drive or more suited to the road, so I've tried to filter those out to make sure that these ones will be as capable as possible. So first of all, we've got the 2013 Audi RS4 Avant. That is an auto show car. It's a grip build mostly, or balance build, plenty of power, but with the rally tyres to help you on off-road. Then if you've got the car pass, we've got the 2020 Audi RS3 sedan. To be fair, it is more of a road build, however it is also running rally tyres, and of course it's all-wheel drive, so I thought I'd include that one as well. Then we've got the 2018 BMW M5, another auto show car there, quite expensive, but this tune was made for an off-road PR stunt near the start of the game. It does also work for road racing and dirt racing, so that's why it's included here. Then we've got the 2016 BMW M2 Coupe, probably the best of the bunch here, absolute monster of a car, running the 6.2 litre V8 Forza Aero, and you can literally chuck it around and it will grip for days. And then finally we've got the 2016 Mercedes-AMG C63 Coupe. This tune was made for the PR Stunts last week, but I thought I'd include it because it was made a bit of a grip build. It's not really running off-road tyres, however it should be fairly suitable. All of these cars are tuned by me, so you can search them up with my gamertag. Next up on the agenda is a selection of community EventLab events that the developers have selected to feature in the playlist. So this week, as I said at the start of the section, we've only got 2 of them to work through, but hopefully there'll be a good pair of EventLabs. I do recognise one of the gamer tags, but I'm hoping that both of them will be good as well. So the first one this week comes from the Filthy Honey. It's titled Curb Your Braking, and by the looks of it, it says all-wheel drive is recommended. A bit slippy, and it's called Curb Your Braking, so obviously you're going to need some good brakes and some good aero, so I would recommend that you pick a car that is suited to that. And the restriction this week is S1 class European hypercars for this EventLab, and once you've completed it you'll get yourself 3 points towards the playlist and a 2020 Land Rover Defender. Okay then, so due to most of the hypercars actually starting in S2 class or very near the top of S1 class, I don't really have many of them tuned anyway, and in fact the only 2 that I do have tuned to S1 class are European anyway, so that is a huge benefit. So they are both from Lamborghini. We've got the 2016 Centenario, which is in the Forzathon shop, or is 2.3 million in the auto show. We've also got the Lamborghini Aventador from 2016, that's the Super Veloce version, which is running more power than the Centenario. However, the Centenario is an absolute boss in the corners. Both of them though have got great launch, all-wheel drive, great top speed, and great braking as well, so they're fairly balanced, and hopefully will be fairly easy to drive. The second and final EventLab of the week is from Andy PS Back. It is Horizon Festival Loop, and it will earn you 3 points and a 2005 BMW M3. Judging from the description, I've got an inkling to suggest that it might be off-road based, or at least partially off-road based. So again, an all-wheel drive car is probably more suitable for this one, but I cannot be sure. It may be entirely based on the road, but I'm not really sure. The restriction is S2 class European Extreme Track Toys. Again, make sure it is European, as for all of these challenges. Which is of course based around the European automotive theme. So let's head over to my garage once again. Similarly to the last EventLab, just a small selection of suggested cars for this one, this time featuring 3 extreme track toys from Europe. So we've got the 2013 Ariel Atom 500 V8. That was a Forzathon tune, not really a race build, however it's definitely more than capable of being a race car. Do watch for a bit of understeer, there's a lot of power, so I would try to avoid planting your foot down halfway around a corner. It is good handling, but of course there is a bit of understeer from the all-wheel drive swap. Then we've got the 2019 Bugatti Divo. This is an absolute monster, even though it isn't technically at the top of S2 class like the Atom. It is really, really fast and really grippy in the corners. And then finally we've got the Ultima Evolution Coupe from 2015. This is my all-wheel drive tune that I've got installed, but I've also got a rear-wheel drive version in S2 class, which is a bit undrivable, but if you want to challenge yourself, then it is there by all means. Following on from the community contributions in the shape of seasonal EventLabs, we now have some seasonal PR stunts to look at. This section, you know, probably a fan favourite because I do include the gameplay of me completing them once we've been through the restriction and my suggested cars, and thus sometimes I do fail, and that will be included if that is the case, but I do always show the completed run as well to make sure that you know that it is possible, because it's usually just me being a bit silly, so don't worry about that too much. But without any further ado, let's get straight into what's required for these stunts. So there's 2 of them this week, only 2 unfortunately, because I do quite enjoy them. But they'll each get you 2 points towards the playlist and a super wheel spin for, upon completion. The events this week are both danger signs. We've got the La Mesa danger sign and the La Cruz danger sign. And the restriction is B-Class Mini, so a bit of an interesting one because there's not really that minis. Half of them are useless, to be honest with you, when it comes to doing stuff like this. However, I've still created some tunes, so as per the standard, I'll give you that tune, and then I'll attempt them myself. I'll include the short clips for you to see how I approach the PR stunts, so that you can see how you might be able to approach it as well. Okay then, so the mini that I have chosen to select for these PR stunts, bearing in mind that they are not race events or anything similar, is the 2009 JCW. So it is an auto show car, 25,000 credits, so it's nice and cheap and accessible. It starts in C class and I've upgraded it up to B class. I've kept it front wheel drive, and you may be thinking, bit strange, but you'll see why, and that was basically to accommodate more power and enable you to get a faster run up for the danger signs. So I didn't bother all-wheel drive swapping it. So it's got the rally engine in it, the 1.6 litre, so 300 horsepower, very light. I haven't bothered putting any unnecessary parts on it, but I have put a race transmission on it to make the gear shifts a bit quicker because they were absolutely shocking beforehand. So hopefully you can get a good run up like you'll see me do in a minute, and hopefully you can surpass them first time. Moving away from the interesting department of seasonal PR stunts, we now have 2 seasonal championships to attack. So these can be completed in either solo or co-op mode, although if you are completing with a convoy, avoid the PvP option and instead choose the co-op option, because PvP means that only one of you will receive the reward, and of course that is not what you want if you are doing it co-op. Playing solo will mean that you'll spawn back into free roam after each event, and this can be a bit confusing because people may think that they've been kicked out of the event, but in fact you are then required to drive or fast travel to each of the other events in the seasonal championship, and they will be marked out in a red and white colour on your map when you enter the championship, so you can know which ones are in your current championship and which ones aren't. So you can see that on these ones it's white on red. It will switch round, so it'll be red on white, so that you can see which ones are in your current championship, and you can filter to seasonal events on your map to help find these. So the co-op version will automatically fast travel you and your teammates to each event and will work the same way as the trial. However, these championships should be locked to highly skilled driver tar difficulty as opposed to unbeatable. The first seasonal championship of the spring season of European Automotive is an exclusive event, VW. It will get you 5 points towards your festival playlist, and it'll also get you the exclusive reward of the 1966 VW Doka, or basically the VW double cab pickup. So it's a VW Type 2 camper van made into a pickup, basically. So they've chopped the end off and replaced it with a pickup bay. And that is an exclusive returning from Horizon 4, so it hasn't currently been in Horizon 5 until this week. and this is the championship where you can unlock that car as well as the exclusive reward of the Mercedes 500e for 20 points. So I would highly recommend that you do complete this championship, and that this is the last championship of the month where there has been an exclusive car, I think, in a championship all across the month, because the developers decided that they wanted to add loads of exclusive cars, or should I say recycled cars, to the festival playlist this week. Or should I say this month. So anyway, this one is based on dirt racing, and the restriction is B-class Volkswagen, so it can be any Volkswagen. It can even be the Volkswagen double cab if you complete the championship and then do it again, if that makes sense. I know it doesn't really make any sense. But anyway, you know exactly where we're going to be heading now. Under the restriction of B-Class Volkswagen, I've selected 4 cars that I believe will be compatible with this seasonal championship. Most of the Volkswagens that I've got tuned, specifically the 7 versions of the Golf that I tuned for the Golf battle that I did a couple of years ago, near the start of the game's release. Quite a lot of them are based for road racing. However, I've selected a few of them that I think will be the most suitable for dirt racing. None of them are really made for dirt racing, but I've selected the ones that I think you'll have the most luck with. However, the car that definitely will be compatible is the 1963 Volkswagen Type 2 Deluxe. So that's, you know, essentially the reward car, but the full version with the rear end not chopped off. But that one, it's running off-road race tyres. It's running a Porsche Flat 6, I believe, or Flat 4, and it's actually quite fun to drive, as well as the livery of SpongeBob there. And then the other cars are the Golf from '92, the Golf from 2003, and the Golf from 1998. However, to be fair, all of them will probably be alright, but these ones have got plenty of power, they're relatively light, and that the 2003 one doesn't have any brakes, unfortunately, because I ran out of PI, but yeah, most of them hopefully will be alright for this championship. And the next championship of the season event section, in fact the second and final seasonal championship, is based this time on road racing. It is called Up and Over, and it will get you 5 points towards the festival playlist and a 2011 VW Scirocco, which you can of course use for the previous seasonal championship if you so want to. Make sure it's a dirt tune if you can. But the restriction for this seasonal championship is S2 class European Extreme Track Toys. So in fact we don't need to go back to my garage for this one, because if you remember from earlier from the event lab from Andy PS back, the restriction was exactly the same. So we've already seen them Extreme Track Toys, the Aerial Atom, the Devo and the Ultima. So that wraps up the seasonal championships for the spring season. To round off the season event section, we have ourselves a Horizon Tour to complete. This one is rather simple. You don't even need to win anything. Instead, all you'll need to do is firstly to enter a Horizon Tour event. I believe that by clicking on the icon in the festival playlist that I am currently hovering over, it should automatically search for a lobby. Alternatively, you can head over to the location on the map where the tour is marked out, and this is on the north boundary of the main Horizon Festival Mexico. Either way, it will give you a random combination of terrain and car restriction. You must pick a car and then complete all of the races, and there'll also be 2 races in between, which is similar to Free Roam Rush from Horizon 4, but they're not actually races and actually just want you to drive to the next race of the Horizon Tour. So complete the set of races and the 8 points that you get as your reward will be yours. That wraps up our second section, season events, which is probably the longest section of the festival playlist, which means we can now progress over to the third section, challenges. So obviously, like I said, season events probably the longest section, which means that hopefully we'll be able to whiz through these latter 3 sections quicker than we have the first 2. But anyway, the challenges in this challenges section this week are the Treasure Hunt, Forza Challenge and an Eliminator Challenge, which I inadvertently completed before recording this video. Of course, starting with the first challenge of the challenges section, we have the Treasure Hunt, which this week is called It Sounds Like a Golf. Once you've successfully smashed through the chest, you'll have yourself 3 points as well as 100,000 credits to splash out. So for this event, the way I work through this primarily is to take a look at and decipher the treasure clue before I go and complete it myself to unlock the chest location clue, and then I will show you the exact location of the chest if you are having having issues finding it, or if you just want to know where it is. But I do have to say as a disclaimer that if you do not want to see the location of the chest and you prefer to find it yourself, then do be warned that you will either have to pause the video and go ahead and do so, or skip to the next event of the video using the chapters in the description, which of course will be the photo challenge if you aren't planning on completing it at the time of watching. And you can of course listen to me breaking down the clue and advising you on what you need to do, but after that you may wish to skip to me showing you the bit where I show you the location. So our clue for the treasure hunt this week is as follows. Wrecking havoc on a golf course for ultimate fun reveals a treasure clue when you are done. So, you may be wondering what car you need to be in, and I would say that you need to be looking at any Volkswagen Golf for this one, due to the fact that it says it sounds like a Golf, and also it mentions a golf course as well. So you should be able to use any model of the Volkswagen Golf, ranging all the way from the MK1 from 1983 to the MK8 from 2022 that we have in the game. Golf GTI, Golf R, whatever it may be, any of them should be applicable. However, if you want to play safe, you can use the car that's pictured in the treasure hunt thumbnail there, which is the 2003 Volkswagen Golf R32, which we of course mentioned in relation to the seasonal championship with B-class Volkswagen. Then looking at the part of the clue that says wrecking havoc, I would suggest that you need to get a wreckage skill, but then the part that says ultimate fun suggests that should be upgraded to an ultimate wreckage skill. So you start off with a wrecking skill, then it's great wrecking, awesome wrecking, and finally ultimate wreckage skill. So you should need to get an ultimate wreckage skill, so you'll need to keep that wreckage chain going for a couple of seconds, hitting a few objects, breakable objects of course, until you get that ultimate wreckage skill pop up on your screen. And then the part that says golf course hints towards the fact that you need to do this on a golf course, and the only golf course in the game as far as I'm aware is right next to my location now. It's around here, so you can see all of this greenery on the map and the occasional bunker with sand. That is the golf course. It appears to go over here as well. So all you need to do is get an ultimate wreckage skill somewhere on this golf course. And once you have done so, a message will appear on your screen saying treasure challenge completed, and you can then pop back to the icon in the festival playlist like so, and it will have changed to display an image of the rough location of the treasure chest. Which will obviously give you an extra clue, and that location will be somewhere within the orange circle that has popped up on your map, and it can help to think that it works almost in the same way as barn finds do. However, as I said, I'll take you to the exact location and show it on the map too if you want me to, so I'll go ahead and complete it, and then I will do exactly that. So, for those of you who do want to see the exact location of the chest, this is the circle that you'll be presented with once you've completed the treasure challenge. And then, as I said earlier, if you head back to the festival playlist, the icon will change, so you can see that the chest appears to be next to some sort of tunnel, the opening of some sort of tunnel, and that opening of some sort of tunnel is right here, so you can see it's almost smack bang in the middle of the area. Smash through the chest and you'll get yourself 3 points and 100,000 credits. Succeeding that treasure hunt, we now have a photo challenge to look at. So this week's photo challenge is #DoubleTrouble, and it will get you 2 points towards the playlist and an emote reward, relax. It wants you to take a photo of the 1966 Volkswagen double cab pickup. So that is the Doka, or well, whatever you want to call it, that you get from the exclusive event VW. So that also emphasises the importance of completing that championship if you want to complete the photo challenge as well to get the points from the photo challenge. Now it doesn't specify a location, so you can go anywhere on the map, even in an event lab if you want to, even on any of the expansions or event lab island. Open up photo mode, take a picture of your double cab pickup, and that should hopefully complete the photo challenge. You'll get yourself a golden tick, a golden stamp, and when you return to free roam you should have a nice completion message, and the points will be yours. The last challenge of this third section is a little Eliminator feature, so I'm fairly confident this objective has been the same every time the Eliminator is featured in the playlist, but not to worry, at least keep things simple in terms of the challenge itself. So all you need to do, and you can't see it here because I've already, as I said, accidentally completed this challenge, but it is to finish 30th or better in a round of the Eliminator, so hopefully that should be nice and easy. So either enter a round via the icon in the online tab of your pause menu, or head over to the icon on the map, which is located in kind of the top right of your map, and you can enter around there. Then simply play until you see the driver's left text display in the top left of your screen to read 30 or less players still in the round, and at that point you may quit the event or wait to challenge or be challenged, and let your opponent win so that you are eliminated naturally. Personally, I'd opt for the second option over quitting, as I haven't been able to test whether quitting actually still counts your challenge completion, and you run the risk of invalidating it. However, if you do so choose, you may also play on until you are beaten, or you may end up winning the round, but I will leave that up to you. And once you have done that, you'll get yourself 3 points towards the playlist and the Forza link reward. I've got a bad feeling about this. Pressing on, we will now take a look at the penultimate section of the festival playlist and your last chance to complete the monthly events, or Series 31's monthly rivals challenges as you may know them. As the name suggests, these last for the whole month and can be completed in any of the weeks of the month, but of course this being the spring season, like I said, it is your last chance to complete them. I've covered them in all of the week's videos across the month, but of course if you haven't completed them yet, absolutely fine. If you have completed them, then you do not need to worry about completing them again. But for those of you that do need to still complete them, we shall go through it now. So the way that the points work is simply that, as you can see, well, you can't really see because I've completed them, you'll get 4 points for completing each event. However, that is the monthly total and will therefore be added onto your series points count over on the far left tab when you've completed each event, and that will then be split into 4 to cover the 4 seasons, so you'll actually get 1 point added onto each season's weekly total. Obviously, with there being 4 events this month, this means that once you've done them all, you'll get 16 points added onto the series total and 4 points added onto each week's seasonal total. Hopefully that makes sense. It may seem complicated at first, but I'm sure you'll understand it in no time once you've seen it for yourself. Anyway, this month, as I said, we've got 4 rivals challenges to attempt, and the objective is the same for all of them. However, you do of course have to complete each one separately, and hence completing one won't automatically do the trick for them all. So that objective is simply to post a clean lap to complete. Sounds simple? It is pretty simple, so long as you make sure that you don't do any of these 3 things: hitting walls or any other non-destructible objects, using rewind, and missing checkpoints or getting your car reset in some other way. Any of those will flag your lap, leaving an exclamation mark next to your time, which means it will not count as it is a dirty lap. So avoid those 3 things, cruise around at a nice controllable pace, and you'll have no problems. And you don't need to beat your rival either, so it doesn't matter who you're up against. Once a clean lap is posted, quit the event and it should have turned gold in your festival playlist, nice and easy. Latterly, for our festival playlist sections, we round out the spring season by checking out this week's expansion events. So as you might expect, these cover those on the Hot Wheels expansion as well as the Rally Adventure expansion, and needless to say, you are required to own both of these expansions to access their respective events. You must additionally reach a certain specified point in their career modes to be granted access to these exclusive expansion festival playlist events, so you won't automatically be able to access them as soon as you start the expansions. So if you don't own these expansions and wish to give them a go, you can purchase them as part of the premium add-ons bundle. The expansions bundle or the Rally Adventure can be purchased on its own if you so wish to do so. So to quickly run through their events before we finish, we have a PR Stunt and a seasonal championship for each expansion. So starting with the Rally Adventure expansion, the stunt this week is the La Cantera Speed Trap. It will get you 2 points and a super wheel spin, and the restriction is B-Class European Retro Rally. And the seasonal championship is free range, based on the road racing version of Rally Adventure. It will get you 5 points and a 1973 Range Rover, and the restriction is S1 Class European Super GT. Moving over to Hot Wheels, we have the Canyon Fire Danger Sign, 2 points in the Super Wheel Spin, and the restriction of S1 class Aston Martin. And finally, the seasonal championship on Hot Wheels is the Grasses Beamer. This is based on hazard events. It will get you 5 points and a 2019 BMW Z4, and the restriction is all-wheel drive BMW in A class. We will quickly just head over to my garage and I'll show you what cars I've got for all 4 of those restrictions. So, your S1 class Aston Martin comes in the form of the GT12 from 2015. Your Retro Rally covers the 1983 Audi Sport Quattro as well as the Lancia Delta from 1992. Then your all-wheel drive BMW is the M2 Coupe, the Z4 M Coupe from 2008, the M5 from 2018 and the M8 Competition from 2020. And then finally the European Super GT in S1 class, we've got the 2017 Ferrari 812 Superfast, we've also got the 2017 Mercedes AMG GTR, and finally we've got the 2011 Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG. The conclusion of the expansion events means we have reached the end of this week's festival playlist, and so also the end of this full festival playlist walkthrough or guide from me. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Your support truly means the world. It is such a motivating factor in me putting hours into these videos every week, because trust me, it is a lot of time and effort, but I do it for helping you guys out and helping you to complete the week's challenges each week. So hopefully my tunes, tips and tricks and everything else from today's video will help you to blast through this week's events with ease, but of course let me know if you need any further advice, and if you did enjoy and would like to see these videos every week plus other content and live streams, do not hesitate to click the like and subscribe buttons and turn your notifications on for alerts when I next upload or go live. Also check the community section often for posts with important info and occasional polls and quizzes if you're interested in that kind of stuff. So thank you very much for watching again, and I will hopefully see you next week with another full festival playlist walkthrough, this time for Summer of the Horizon Race Off, and we've got the Forza Monthly or Let's Go stream from the developers, I believe, on the 25th of March. So hopefully I shall see you then. Thank you very much for watching. Bye!